Hello, everyone, and welcome to the pilot episode of the Anti-MLM Shakedown, your source for anti-MLM news and other things that I care about. I'm your host, Mallory G. Thanks so much for joining us. This month's Shakedown will be shorter than most since this is a new idea and we are still testing the waters. But for now, let's take a look at what happened this month in anti-MLM and other important events. So beginning of the month in May, we got off to a fiery start. The previous, let's say 50 some days before that, a bunch of people in the anti-MLM community, mainly creators and advocates and activists, had been working tirelessly to get the word out to a community of people who are anti-MLM, that the FTC was asking the public for comments to consider adding a new rule to make deceptive earnings claims in multi-level marketing a thing of the past. Too often when we are propositioned, right, to join an MLM, we end up finding ourselves being told that you can make X amount of money, you can have financial freedom, you get a free car, and then we get into the MLM and we realize that none of that was true, or it was a really watered down version of what is not a really great truth to begin with. So the FTC had opened up the comments and we had been working like crazy to get the word out. A bunch of people got together and created a public service announcement where we had one script and you all saw us saying different parts of that script because we needed your help. And then we all had this big brainstorm, and thanks to Gladys at the MLM Exit on Instagram, she had this wonderful idea that what if we did a comment palooza? I think at the time we called it a thon, like a telethon, but we wanted it to be a 24-hour event where anti-MLM creators were present on the internet live, reminding people that this is it. This is the blitz. This is the time to get your comment in. So for 24 hours, anytime you got on the internet on that particular day, either on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, I think Twitch at one point, there was going to be someone who was live telling you how you can draft a comment, where you can go to draft a comment, different types of comments that they are looking for, different things they need to hear from you, how to collect evidence, how to submit the comment, and just to be there to remind you why the anti-MLM community is so drastically important. At the end of that, well, in the middle, actually, I would say, we had a really fun 2-hour period where we played Boss Babe the game on Roberta Blevins' YouTube channel, which is a real game. You should check it out. I'll link it below. And we used that time as not just an opportunity to remind people to write comments, but just to have fun and relax. Because sometimes when you're healing through coming out of anti-MLM or coming out of MLM, you need time to just laugh at the things that you've done, the things that you say, this card, this description on this game card is exactly something I did. And it gives you a big sense of relief. So I highly recommend that you check out Boss Babe the game. During that time, so this whole thing happened on Saturday, May 7th. It started at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is where I am. Everything kicked off. It kicked off with Danielle from Huns to Humans, where she talked about mental health in MLMs and how things are frequently preyed upon, how you are preyed upon with your mental health to get into MLMs. And throughout the entire 24 hours, there were so many people in and out talking about various things about MLMs that are dangerous, deceptive, and just downright wrong that take advantage of the consumer. At the end of the entire Comment Palooza, when it finally wrapped up at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday, Mother's Day, May 8th, we weren't sure of the final number of comments that had been submitted, but when the comments finally closed on May 10th, we got a final estimation from the website that says approximately 1,600, a little over that, comments had been submitted, which in my opinion is huge and such a big deal. So that is how we kicked off May. And when that ended, a whole bunch of us, I can speak for myself, just needed a break. We had been running hard to just get this information out, spending a lot of our own time, our free time, just trying to get information out to the public. And of course, right when something big like this happened, we went into Mercury in retrograde, or Mercury is retrograde. What is Mercury is retrograde? Now, you might be saying, Mallory, what is this? I don't understand. This sounds made up. You might think it is. And I don't know if you're really into astrology and how the planets align and the stars and the moon and what's your sign. People ask me what my sign is all the time. I know that I'm a Sagittarius. I don't know what that means. And people will say, oh my gosh, of course you're Sagittarius. Cool, I guess. I don't know what that means. But when Mercury is retrograde, it basically means that the way that the planets are moving, that I'm going to say this really bad, right? It's not going to make any sense. And I've got some sources that are going to explain it better. But the way the planets are moving, that it appears that Mercury is moving backwards, even though it's not. It's an optical illusion. I'll also be linking right here, or here, and also in the description, a BuzzFeed video that sums it up in about 2.5 minutes. Now let's go into a new segment, the whole thing is new, that I like to call multi-level malarkey. Today in Multi-Level Malarkey, we are going to be covering one of our favorite MLM reps from one of our favorite multi-level marketing companies. This is Salvage Soul. Salvage Soul is one of the higher ups in Monat, the shampoo and skincare and wellness line of multi-level garbage that we see more often than not. Salvage Soul recently made a post that was shared by the MLM Boss Babe, where you can get many very spicy tea posts from her stories on Instagram. But she recently shared this post from Salvage Soul that says, hypothetically speaking, if I were to write an ebook, what would you hope for the topic to be? Now, for Salvage Soul to say that she wants to write a book is anybody can write a book, sure. No one's saying that you shouldn't write a book. But Salvage Soul is also the same person who produced this screenshot that made the rounds very much in the end of March, beginning of April. She sent a text message to somebody in her downline that said, "Hey mama, would you be willing to terminate your account and rejoin under Jamie? I will pay $500 now and the biggest product pack cost for you to rejoin after the 6 months, or if they have an early opening, which I think they will soon. XOXO. I mean, you can rejoin under me if you wanted." What Salvage Soul did here is a classic case of stacking. Stacking is when you move people around so that you can hit rank, and that is illegal, not permitted, not allowed. It goes against policies and procedures. When this screenshot was leaked and sent to compliance at Monat, all of a sudden, and many people sent it, all of a sudden, Salvage Soul was quiet on Instagram. Salvage Soul wasn't posting anything at all about what was going on with Monat. It was all about Jesus and her faith and Christianity. And don't get me wrong, I am a Christian. But one day I will have a segment on this show about faith manipulation and multi-level marketing. She was spending a lot of time on her Instagram stories posting about rising back up and having to overcome obstacles. And for me, if the obstacle you have to overcome is cheating the system and earning a lot of money off of the backs of other people below you who are making no money, you haven't had to overcome anything. Cry me a river. Thank you very much. So for Salvage Soul to say she wants to write a book, I would love to see her write a book about how all of this transpired. What she did in that time where she was suspended, allegedly, from Monat. Because all of that, to me, is a bunch of multi-level malarkey. And now I'm really excited to introduce to you a super fun new segment that we here at the Anti-MLM Shakedown like to call Bitchin' with Barb.
Oh, hello everybody. My name is Barb Stupiditsky, and welcome to Bitchin' with Barb. What we're going to do today is we're going to look at some really problematic behavior from some of our favorite, handbats that live out in the wild. Now, recently, you know that we like to talk a lot about Monat. Monat is one of our favorite multi-level marketing companies to talk about. And one of our favorite Huns from the multi-level marketing verse is Miss Brittany Rose. Now, Brittany Rose, if you are watching, I am not making fun of you. I am commenting on the things that you say and your behavior, okay? If you've got a problem with that, then you might want to reevaluate your behavior. All right, so if you weren't aware, okay, Monat had this big elite trip planned for their elite, earners or whatever. You had to get points to be able to go on this trip. And I forget right now off the top of my head. I'll place it here or here for you once I get the graphic. If I get the graphic, sometimes people just don't get back to you, and that's okay. But they had to earn a certain amount of points to be able to go on this trip. I think maybe it was 60. Or no, that's not even true. They had to earn a certain amount of points to go on this trip. And the top 10 people who earned the most points got to go on this trip. Do you want to know what the number 10 spot earned, how many points they earned? Take a guess. No, that's not it. If you said 19, oh my goodness, you're right. 19 points. Now, how do you get 19 points? Well, you got those points if someone below you rank advanced to MMB or SED or MTV or VH1. That's how you got your points. So it literally had nothing to do with sales. It had nothing to do with nothing. It only had to do with if you got someone who was directly below you to rank advance. Ma'am, that's called a pyramid scheme? Okay, so that's how this all worked. So where was the elite trip to? Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you asked. They went to Dubai. Now listen, I don't want to talk too much about Dubai per se because there's a lot that I still don't know about Dubai. I spent a lot of time reading about it today, but there's a lot of problematic things that are going on in Dubai. So let's listen to what Miss Brittany Rose had to say about her trip to Dubai that was so elite that she didn't earn. Don't tell. And if she wants to say she earned it, listen, Miss Brittany Rose, I know you probably are watching because someone's going to go, hey, that girl on that I Don't Want No Huns is talking about you again. Brittany, I'm not talking about you and who you are as a person. I'm talking about the things that you're about to say on the internet, okay?
It took me to Dubai, and I just can't even believe it. I can't even get over it. It feels like a dream, like I said, and it's a complete whirlwind, but just super, super grateful and thankful that I got to experience this once in a lifetime. Dubai itself is stunning and beautiful, and just the quality of the city, like the cleanliness. There's like no poverty, no homelessness, no graffiti trash.
Ma'am, that's like going to the Hamptons and saying there's no poverty. That's because you're in the rich part of the world. You're in the part that is made to look like everything is so glamorous and only the rich can go there. Of course, there's no poverty where you were, but just go a little bit outside the city limits, and I bet you're going to see
pristine,
a lot of very sad
clean.
things.
Like the hotel we stayed at looked like an Arabian.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of the hotel they stayed at, if this was such an elite trip, why did they have to stay at 3 different hotels for the 1 week they were there? Or maybe they were only there 5 to 6 days. I forget. But they stayed there at 3 different... Can you imagine going on vacation, getting settled in a hotel, and then 2 nights later you got to pack up and go to another hotel, and you're not even leaving the city? You're not even going to a new location, new destination. You're staying in the same darn place.
Palace, in a sense, like just the details, the intricate work into the stone and the designs, like work into the stone and the design.
Okay, listen, I'm sure it's beautiful, but she's talking about the intricate work into the stone as if there's nowhere else in the entire world that you can go see intricate work in stone. Ma'am, have you ever heard of Europe?
Just stunning, amazing. It is something that everyone should experience at least once in their lifetimes.
Everyone should experience Dubai at least once in their lifetime. What an least ableist thing to say. You know how many people won't get to experience Dubai at least once in their lifetime? Like almost everybody.
So if you've ever been wanting to go to Dubai, I say go for it. The hotels we stayed at were hands down spectacular. So if you need a hotel recommendation, we stayed at probably the top 3. But hands down, an amazing experience. So If you have any questions, just let me know and I can definitely answer them. Or maybe I'll even put a slide of like, what are some...
I got lots of questions.
Or maybe I'll even put a slide of like, what are...
My questions are like, how did you get to go? Oh, you didn't have to do anything. Just build a gigantic downline of people below you and then hope that they rank up and encourage them and bully them and love bomb them into ranking up so that you can go to Dubai. I mean, the thing that drives me the most nuts is that if I rank up, if I make this really amazing accomplishment at making it as to a senior executive director, I don't get to go to Dubai for that. You do? What kind of malarkey is that? That's
things you want to know about the UAE. I learned a lot of cool facts.
Listen, if you want to learn about the UAE, do not contact Brittany Rose. Listen, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, Miss Rose. I'm really not. But the things that you learned about the UAE are not cold hard facts about what's actually going on. And there's no way that I'm going to get my historical information or my geographical information or any kind of information from somebody that posts pictures that say, let's go Brit. Okay, I'm just not going to do
what's different about it. It kind of brought me back to like the Bible, right? When you had
Ma'am. Can you please, for just once in your life, please stop. Just stop bringing everything back to the Bible. Your faith manipulation is really starting to grind my gears. You know what I'm saying? And let's also talk about the fact that I'm pretty sure, like, me and Jesus aren't necessarily, like, he's not my homeboy. He's not my best friend, but we're close enough. I'm pretty sure that Jesus would be like, this is excessive. I don't think Dubai is anything like what I wanted you to take away from the Bible. I mean, that's just my guess.
And good rulers that ruled over the land and how they were prosperous and
good kings and good rulers prospering over the land. So Dubai reminded you of the good kings and the good rulers in the Bible and their riches. Ma'am, I feel like you and I have two very different understandings of the Bible and what riches.
And I feel like that's how it is in the UAE and Dubai. And just to hear their backstory of how they were pearl divers and fishermen and they struck oil, and now they have this kingdom in a sense, the UAE, and what they do for their people, and just like I said, how they no poverty, no crime rate. It's super, super safe. No homelessness. When you go to Dubai, the concept is you go to work or you leave. Like, everyone's a hard worker. So there's just a lot of cool facts about Dubai.
Ma'am, you talk about the people in Dubai. Did you know that between 88.5 to 90% of the people in Dubai are not native to Dubai? They're immigrant workers. Did you know that the people that build Dubai are technically slaves, and that they live in they are packed into places, and there is slave labor happening in Dubai? And just because you didn't see homelessness, and do you want to know why you didn't see homelessness in Dubai? That's because they made it illegal. They banned those people. So if you just step outside of the doors of Dubai, you just go right outside of Oz, you're going to see some homeless people because they've been extradited. Your entitlement is really showing. So I just want to give you a piece of advice, Miss Rose. Okay, listen. The next time that you're going to go travel, especially to a foreign country, something like Dubai, please make sure that you are fully educated on what's going on there. Because when you get on public platforms like this and say that there was no homelessness and no poverty, I know that your audience that you're normally talking to is going to just eat that up and be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But what is actually happening is that you are showing the rest of the world, the people that have critical thinking skills and understand how to use Google, that you don't actually have any idea what's going on. And you're living in a very rich, comfy, cozy, white ivory tower of ignorance. And I say that with the utmost respect, Miss Rose. You deserve respect, regardless of how much I feverishly disagree with you on 95% of the things that you have ever said. But you still deserve respect. I think everybody does. But I'll tell you, when you get on the internet and say things like this, ma'am, you just, it is really irresponsible. So I really hope that next time you'll think twice, but we know that you won't. And you'll probably be back on here with me next month. And this has been Bitchin' with Barb. Well, that's all that we have for you today.
Like I said, the first episode was going to be a short one because I got the idea about 5 days before the end of the month, and I wanted to get this content out to you as soon as possible. If you have anything that you would like me to include in the Anti-MLM Shakedown, if you would like to be a guest on the Anti-MLM Shakedown, please make sure you email me at idon'twantnohuns@gmail.com, and I'll be sure to get back to you so we can collaborate on putting out great content to educate consumers on the dangers of multi-level marketing. And remember, kindness, education, empathy, and patience create a lasting movement. So keep calm, and I'll see you next time. Take care.